Hello, Pastor Justin coming to you here with a little video devotional today about Good Friday. If you were alive back when Jesus was alive and he was being crucified and you were in his circle of friends or someone who called yourself a follower of his, this Friday would not have felt very good to you. There wouldn't have felt like there was very much victory happening. It wouldn't have felt like there was very much good at all. It would have actually been a pretty terrible day. It would have been a horrible day to see our friend, the person that we're following, the Messiah, die and be hung on a criminal's cross. But see, we so many times miss it. And while Jesus was here, we missed it also. It was in his death that we have victory. And it is really a Good Friday, and we celebrate this time because Jesus came down from heaven and he died willingly. There was nothing that Jesus was afraid of. There was no fear for him. He came down and he did this willingly. The one thing that he was dreading was this separation from his Father, and that separation from the Father had to happen so that we would never feel the wrath of God. Jesus took on that wrath of God so that we would never have to feel it. And it's interesting that because of this event, when Jesus dies, the veil is torn in the temple, torn from top to bottom, which is physically impossible outside of the hands of God, which means that God himself tore that veil. And what was the representation of that veil being torn? It was that there is no more separation between us and God. There's nothing that stands in the way between us and God. The moment that Jesus Christ died on the cross and he had victory over that death, we are fully accepted into the kingdom if we accept his sacrifice. That means that there's nothing that can separate us from God, not our sin, nothing that we do wrong. If we mess it up, anytime that there is absolutely nothing that can separate us from the love of God, nothing that can separate us from his presence. We have been completely perfected by Jesus defeating death. Because that veil was torn in the temple, that now means that God doesn't reside in that Holy of Holies anymore. He doesn't reside in that room anymore. So where is God now, right? God is in heaven. He can be anywhere. God is omnipresent. But most importantly is that we don't go to that temple to worship anymore. Part of this whole victory over the death, part of why Good Friday is so good, is that we don't have to bring any sacrifices to the temple anymore. Jesus Christ is the perfect sacrifice. He died once for all. And because of that, we can have complete peace and an eternal resting place with him if we accept that sacrifice. That's what's so good about Good Friday. That's what we celebrate. We celebrate the fact that in Jesus Christ's death, we have been made alive. And we have been made completely perfected in our relationship with God. There's nothing that can separate us from him anymore, not even our wrongdoing. God bless, church. Happy Easter.